Hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to talk about my favorite production tool. Well, like one of my favorites. It's hard to pick an absolute favorite, but this one's pretty cool. Roll the intro. That's right, we got an intro. So this is the Noga SynArm. It's one of them. I think they have a few different models and it's awesome. I think one of the important things about filmmaking is getting the camera in the right place, getting creative and unique angles. When I first started out filmmaking, it was all about getting people to ask like, oh, how did you do that? Like, how did you get that shot? A lot of times we see it on YouTube now with the overhead shot, like Casey Neistat does that all the time where he's opening up a box and you just see the overhead. And I do that quite a bit as well, but you can't bring the overhead jib crane and the overhead tripods into the bathroom. You can't bring it into your car. So when you can't do that, I use this thing. It's really cool. I'm gonna show you guys a couple ways that I mount it. Just so you know, it's a little bit pricey. I mean, this arm itself costs $130. As you know, some of this production gear can get a little bit expensive, but it's worth it to get the good quality ones. Conrad, you know, when we first started like setting up the Movi Pro, I got like a really cheap one and it would just fall apart. Like this thing holds a ton of weight. It holds my A7R II, my camera, my mic, and what's really neat about it is that when you lock this middle thing here, everything locks, all the joints lock. So if you undo it, every joint moves around and then you can put it into the place you want to and then lock it in. Now, obviously this alone isn't everything you need. There's also an impact clamp. So we it's called the Atomic Clamp, ME100. And this is how we mount it onto things, and then the camera would go on this end. So like I said, I'm gonna show you guys 3 ways that I use this and how it allows me to get really interesting and creative shots. So let's go to the bathroom. Conrad, join me in the bathroom. Okay, so obviously first thing we wanna take off the mount that was on here and then mount it here. Don't do what I just did. Sometimes it could not be on right and it's gonna be ugly. So, okay, we're opened up here. It's a little bit tight and now I can mount this. This is the shot that I got. If you saw my 30 days of cold showers video, most of the time I was using a GoPro, but a couple times I got really high quality shots by mounting this on top of my shower head. And that is also how I got my thumbnail for the video, which I thought came out awesome. Conrad, what'd you think?
I think it was fantastic.
You thought it was good?
Yeah.
It was my most YouTube thumbnail so far. All right, so we would clamp it right like this. You get the idea. There's a lot of finagling and making sure that it's just right and in frame. It's difficult. I mean, you might want to use an actual external monitor. I didn't when I was shooting this. I just got up here and I flipped the monitor around and I checked it out to make sure it was good. And then I also set the focus to manual in this case. And I kind of just put my hand there and I made the focus about where my face would be. And then I recorded it. And I also did a bunch of thumbnails with a remote trigger. So that's how I got this shot. I mean, look, that's pretty amazing that this arm holds this camera with the microphone on this shower head and it's not breaking. So, I mean, does that worry?
I mean, it's a little
bit janky.
A little nervous, yeah, especially because you have the water running.
Yeah.
It's gonna fall.
It's a little bit janky, but you know what? It works. Like that's the next one that I show you guys is even more janky, but it works. And I would just be careful. Like your landlord is gonna call me and like be pissed off because you broke your shower head, but that's good. Let's go to the next one. All right. So Conrad said, Matt, where are you gonna mount this?
Matt, where do you mount that thing?
That's what he said. Okay. This is worse. This is worse than the shower head one, but it's worked for me for a bunch of shots. So the problem that I had is like, when I'm like driving in the car seat, in the toddler seat, I don't want to be like holding onto the camera, and like if I put it down here, it's too low and awkward, and it usually doesn't get a good angle or lighting. So I wanted it to be mounted like right here, and how could we possibly do that? Oh, we've got the Noga Syn arm, and what we'll do is obviously attach this again, and we're gonna mount it right here. Just like that. And so as you can see, like right here, there's actually some markings there already where I kind of distressed it. I did originally do this with, I would have cardboard there, which kind of prevented it from getting all screwed up, but then the cardboard would slip off. So now you can just use a little cloth. This is a lens cloth. That way, just to prevent the car from getting damaged. If it's a rental car, I wouldn't recommend this strategy, but if it's your car and you care more about getting the shot than you do about the upkeep of your car, this will work just fine. And you can get it tighter than this. I usually have it a little bit tighter even.
It doesn't sway?
It'll move around. It's gonna move around a little bit. Here, I'll. Why don't you actually go in the back, and then we'll do it in practice, because I can see that you don't believe me.
I know.
It's so funny because when it's upside down, I'm like, where's the record button? I'm so screwed up. All right, so right now we got the mount set up. This is the Proof Conrad wrong mount. So you can see it shakes a little bit, bounces around a little bit. I mean, the audio from this is never going to be amazing, but it's decent. And anytime you're shooting and filming yourself like this, where you don't have somebody monitoring it, there's always trial and error. You're always going to be shooting stuff and then realizing later that it was out of focus or over or underexposed, and then you just have to either reshoot it or just stick with the shitty footage. In the comments of this video, let me know what questions you have about the filmmaking process, and Conrad and I will walk you through in future videos here on Patreon. This is the last mount here. This one's a little bit boring, but with these Noga arms, you can obviously mount pretty much any accessory you would want either onto your camera or onto your tripod. So whenever I was filming the Ground Up show, I would have a monitor like this, and I would mount it right onto my tripod. For the sake of this, bring this up. So you can mount it right here, and then that way you can see exactly what the hell you're doing. Plug the cable in, boop, boop, and you're ready to rock. You know, anything, this is a 1/4" screw here, so anything with the 1/4" screw, you can obviously get an adapter too for other things. This is no brainer here, but if you ever needed to mount a microphone, you can do that as well. I would say, don't skimp. I know that this is expensive, and it's almost like half the price of my tripods, and it's kind of crazy for a device this small. But I have made the mistake of skimping in the past and getting cheap products, stuff that aren't well made, stuff that won't last very long. This is something that I've had for about 3 years now, 2.5 years, and it holds up exceptionally well, and I get a ton of use out of it. So if it's something that you're in the market for, if you think it can help you, I definitely recommend it. You may want to, you can look around, and I don't know if this is the absolute best model that's available, but it's one that works really well for me. So check it out. Also, like I said, let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions about the production process, the videos that I make, and I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this in the future. See you next time. Bye now.